evacuated the village earlier this morning, been standing by trying to figure out what was going to happen. And I'm going to switch over this way. Look at this. You can see clear signs of condensation on the side of SN9. Do you see on the stainless steel where it gets a little bit darker there? That's the humidity of the atmosphere condensing onto the side of the rocket, just like a cold drink would condense when it's humid outside. So that is further indication that they're going forwards with this. We do not know if it's going to be a flight. Are they going to go all the way up to T-0 and then not fly? We just don't know what the plan is going to be. That is a frost ring.
Yep.
Right at the middle of the flaps, you see that white line that goes across Starship. That is actual ice forming at the bottom of the LOX tank, the top of the skirt. So, yo,
right, I'm
keep
going
watching.
to treat this. I'm going to treat this as if it is a launch, and get everything ready. So I'll be speaking to you after the launch, guys.
Sounds good.
And I have moved the other camera, the other bot, so that it is framed for the launch and the landing. I am working to put both cameras on manual focus.
Sounds good. Thank you, Michael. We're going to be tracking with one of these cameras. Of course, the crewed cameras are going to track. Mary is going to be following the rocket if it takes off, and then Jack as well, also going to be following the rocket. This camera here from the beach, we're going to leave it like this as a fixed perspective. Also, our long-range camera, we're going to leave wider as a context shot. But we have a couple different plans on how we can cover this. I mean, they're going forward with something. There's a frost ring on the rocket, but we have no indication for sure that this is a launch. Is this just a test? Is this a practice one, a wet dress rehearsal? We don't have any official confirmation. That one reporter officially spoke with the FAA, and it was one of those things where it really didn't answer any of our questions.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, there are only two visual options at this point. There's the massive depress event, which tells us the attempt is off, or the Trivent pulse, and we're doing something.
Which is rapidly followed by a liftoff, usually, if you get the Trivent pulse.
An engine ignition, at least.
Yeah,
yes.
An engine ignition. That's a good thank you. That's a clear way to say it. So,
because remember, they could technically light the engines and do a static fire, and just not release the vehicle. If they don't have approval and they're just going to take it down as a full practice run. But my guess is as good as anyone else's right now.
Yeah. We're just going to keep watching and see what we get. We don't know what we're going to get.
Yeah, I don't yet see a frost ring on the liquid oxygen header tank.
Up at the very top of the nose cone?
Right. Yeah. Just pointing that out. Not giving, not, I don't know what that means. I'm just simply pointing it out. I think that's a good catch-all for everything until something happens here.
Yeah, it's just I think today we really don't know a lot of stuff that's going on, but we're going to keep watching, and so maybe it's going to fly.
Next thing to look for would be the Trivent pulsing, which would be right before engine startup.
Right, Jack. Yeah, the Trivent's pulsing would be right before engine startup. Yeah. So we're going to keep watching.
My skepticism is honestly strong, though, because Six did say they would live stream it.
Right.
So my skepticism is strong. The SpaceX has not tweeted anything. Nothing seems in that regard to be falling into place here for a liftoff. So, yeah, maybe a static fire if we get.
You will find out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Either way, it's exciting. Judging by the beginning of the engine cool, the Trivent, it could be 2.5 minutes away if that timer holds. And Chris, there is your line on the nose cone, the header tank up there.
There's
the frost ring forming on the nose cone.
All right, so this is literally just a how far do they take it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that is full fuel for what this flight would be to put fuel in the header tank. So, let's see.
We are watching for all angles here, y'all. So stand by to see what we're going to figure. You'll probably figure it out at the same time we knew.
Yeah, because we're either going to see the Trivent's pulse or we're going to see a deepest.
Yeah.
Or both. Yeah. Oxygen is definitely in both of the tanks at this point.
Looks like the close-in robot there is getting ready in case anything happens. Michael, is you on the trigger there?
I have good control over the robot right now for the most part, so that's a good sign.
All right.
Although they say that it's a little shaky. There we go. Yeah. I'm trying to frame it more to the right this time, because last time Starship kind of moved to the left across the frame as it happened, so less things I have to correct for, the better. Ooh, there's a depress vent.
That's
there we go. Depress.
Do we see the liquid oxygen and the methane, or just the methane?
From the beach perspective, we have a big depress about halfway up. That is a depressurization vent, though. That is a high-pressure vent, and it is releasing a lot of pressure quickly. This is a depress. Interesting. Let's hop back over this way. You can see it from this perspective, sort of coming at the angle. And you can also see it from Mary's on the other side here.
Oh, sorry, wrong. Oh, you switched just in time.
I gotcha.
I commanded the wrong robot. That has happened before. It will happen again.
That is okay. So again, y'all, especially sustained like this is a big depress vent right there. So you can actually see it looks like it may be starting to spool down a little bit over on this side. Wow, you can really see it there from that beach perspective.
That time. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all good. But there you go. It just shut off. We still have some cascading coming out of the tri-vents on the bottom, it looks like. But typically, by the clock, by the spreadsheet, from the time that we got that engine chill down, we should have been right here at ignition if that was happening. And that the depressurization vent happened just before we would have expected an ignition of engines based on the timing of how these things go. We're going to keep watching because we don't get any official word on exactly what's happening. But that depressurization vent makes it seem that this may have been a full up all hands on deck sort of rehearsal, potentially. But we're going to keep watching. It's just no official confirmation on what's happening anyways. So
that was an abort, and they will now presumably move into detanking operations, and hopefully we'll find. I mean, there's still 3 hours left in the window, so they still have time to get FAA approval. The first SN8 launch attempt. I shouldn't say the first SN8 launch attempt. The first day that SN8 flew, which is actually the second day of attempts, they had 2 attempts, and the second one was the one that went. So we could see that again today, where they recycle and go again. But that first attempt was clearly aborted by that depress vent.
Right. That is, we've seen this so many times, y'all. When we get a big vent like that, like we know that that's a depressurization vent. So, not exactly sure on what is happening there. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening on the scene. Somebody needs to clean this up. Hang on. Again, if you're just joining us, you're wondering what's going on, should you keep watching? We did just observe a depressurization vent from Starship SN9. It looked like it was running through all the processes, all the phases of preparation to ignite those Raptor engines on the bottom, but we never did get official confirmation from the FAA saying that they had cleared this flight. We got a statement from a reporter who said they talked to the FAA specifically, and the FAA seemed to imply that they were not granting permission and they had safety issues, safety concerns before they were going to grant the license for SN9 to fly. And that's sort of the best we got. I still haven't seen, and again, it could come in at any second, but I have not seen any official from SpaceX confirmation or anything like that.
Yeah. So, it seems to me that those rumors about the FAA approval were probably not true, given Christian Davenport's tweet as well. He's a very reputable reporter for the Washington Post. So if he's saying that other than rumors, I would weigh his tweet more. And there's always the possibility they had a technical problem of some sort that caused them to have
That's true.
to
Yep.
abort. But if you just put everything together from what we've seen today, I think they probably did not have the FAA approval that they needed to fly today. But like I said, still 3 hours in the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, Christian Davenport isn't the only one who was saying. I was just scrolling through Joey Roulette's sources at the FAA. We're all saying the same thing.
The same thing.
And his are flat out saying it's not happening today. Period.
Right.
So, yeah.
Again, y'all, I don't want anybody to, oh, wow, y'all are not positive, or, geez, you just have to believe. Like, sure, I just want to believe as well, but we strive to make sure that you have accurate information. We don't want to base things on rumors. Hey, sure, sometimes we like to think about cool stuff, and we make conjectures and speculation and stuff, but when it comes down to something super serious like this that everybody is very excited about, we were trying to play that very carefully and make sure that we got some sort of official confirmation. We all want to believe exactly, oh, this is going, oh, it's happening. Everybody starts waving their hands. Tweets get 10,000 likes and that sort of stuff because we want to believe that, right? That's what we want to hear. But it's very important for us to make sure we get an official source that confirms what we're reporting. And it's been a wacky day today. I mean, what a day. Launches do not go like this usually because, of course, this is an experimental program launch. But it's been a wild ride, I'll tell you that much. Whew. Chris, this just isn't how launches go. Like, can you talk a little bit about how this works at the Cape? And you're at Cape Canaveral?
Yeah. Well, first, you have your launch license for a mission out of the Cape months before you need it. Yeah, no, you wouldn't have this type of stuff happening at Cape Canaveral for regular flights that are manifested through the range and everything in terms of the operational missions that go. You might see some of this in terms of test flights, like the first time rockets take their flight, or you might see that final approval from the FAA coming just a little bit later or closer to liftoff than would otherwise be the case. But no, you're not like on the day wondering, are you going to get a launch license or not? We're talking about a Falcon 9 or a Vulcan or an Atlas or a Delta or SLS or an Electron or an Antares or anything like that. I have to include Astra in there with Rocket 3. Yes, no 2, and New Shepard. So yeah, okay, I'm just going to stop trying to name them all. But yeah, it's much more streamlined. Did I successfully stall long enough, Doss, or would you like me to take another question?
Oh no, keep talking. Yeah.
Okay, keep talking. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, keep talking.
Yeah. Yes. Let me see what I can find here. So Raptor22 was asking with a $5 super chat just now. Would Starship be capable of doing a belly flop maneuver with only 7 kilometers? I wonder if it's possible for them to fly inside the window. The window you're referring to there is the temporary flight restriction to 7,200 feet, not meters. 7,200 feet, well below 7.5 kilometers there. So no, not in that regard. No, they need the 10 to do it. Looking for some questions here in chat. Steve Hopkins, the answer is no. Steve Hopkins is asking, how can we confirm whether we have FAA approval or not? A lot of that is on the FAA's website itself. They will post the airspace closure notices, which is the first indication that there's a potential to fly. But then after that, it would be up to SpaceX or the FAA to say that they've granted the final permission. that does sometimes appear on their website, but for SN8, it did not appear until after the flight had already occurred, even though they had the approval when SN8 flew. It didn't appear on the website prior. Yeah, unless they say it, it's going to be one of the. It would be waiting for it to appear online, or waiting for it to take off, which would come with some obvious warning, like SpaceX live for a web stream, and things along those lines. But that's how we would know. Ben Sharp is asking, do the header tanks vent? And if so, from where? Michael or Das, I do not believe the header tanks vent. I just believe they drain them.
The liquid oxygen header tank does have a vent at the top.
It does?
We do see it sometimes, but not always.
But the methane tank not seen?
The methane header tank is inside of the main methane tank, so I think they just have valves that are connected to the main tank.
Gotcha. Are you just looking through chat real quick, guys? Sorry.
Sure.
It just disappeared from the chat queue. It was a good question about when do they would complete the work on the orbital pad to give it its launch mount and everything. How soon do we think that would be ready?
That's a good question. I'm not exactly sure. It does seem like we have seen some bits and pieces around the production site that might be part of it, but I think they might have just been waiting for that concrete to cure. They had 6 huge pipes that they filled with concrete, and they've had a tarp on top of them. So presumably, they have been waiting for that concrete to cure. I'm not sure how long that takes, but it has been several weeks now. But hopefully, we will see more progress on that orbital launch mount soon. They have been doing a lot of work in the surrounding area to prepare the ground infrastructure and the necessary wiring and piping to get all the necessary commodities and telemetry from the pad. So lots of stuff happening at the pad. It's just a large project. It's going to take some time to build.
Yeah. And this is a good question. So, Michael, some other people are saying in chat that we never saw them go out and unbolt SN9 from test stands, so there was no way that it could possibly have ever lifted off. The hold down clamp would release at T0 and hold it down for Raptor engine ignition and release the vehicle at T0. There are no bolts that you go out and unscrew beforehand that changes it from a static fire configuration to a liftoff. It's just static fire. You don't release the launch clamps, and that works the same for the Falcon 9 and the Falcon Heavy when they do their static fires. The launch clamps just don't release the vehicle and hold it to the pad.
Yep.
So here's one from Kylie Williams with $10 saying, "Hey NSF team, joining from the future here in Sydney. Oh, it's tomorrow in Sydney, isn't it? Do we think the FAA would have had more stringent criteria given the last-minute failure on SN8? It's a good question. I'm not sure that type of failure would have necessarily created more stringent safety considerations, mainly because the entire closure notices for both land, sea, and air were designed for if it failed, like at apogee at 12.5 kilometers, and the debris went as far as it possibly could. So a failure close to the ground after a successful test that I wouldn't necessarily think that would be a cause for the FAA to go, no, wait a minute, let's stop. One thing that could be a possibility, though, because we made a big deal about this on the stream about like keep the area clear when they're doing testing. Keep the area clear. Right? This is a private range that SpaceX and the county maintain. And last week we saw a test underway, and then all of a sudden someone drove by towing a boat back from the beach, and one had been missed in evacuation of the area. The FAA did say that it was safety considerations that they were concerned about. It is possible that it's not necessarily a safety thing with the vehicle. It might be. I'm just putting it out there that part of the FAA regulatory oversight is the management of the range and clearing it. And we did see an unfortunate issue with that last week. So that could also be something that's playing into it. So it might not actually have anything to do with S8 necessarily. But that's not to say we couldn't rule out the FAA seeing something like that and asking additional questions or demanding other certain things for additional safety, which they regulatory agency have the authority to do. I don't know if there's anything anyone wanted to add to that or not.
No, I think you got it, Chris.
Okay.
I mean, the only other thing I was going to add was for SN8, it had an epic ending, right? But it was right on target. So can SpaceX keep the craft under control? Is it stable when it's falling? Are they able to guide it back in a controlled manner? Is it tumbling out of control? Like all of those things that you might think, well, geez, we need to increase the exclusion zone or something like that. Like SN8 passed that with flying colors. And it came down right on target, right there on the landing pad.
Yeah.
It was just the engine not having enough, or the fuel tank not having enough pressure to keep the engine going to slow down enough for landing. But everything else was completely under control in that flight. I would think that the results of SN8 would give more confidence that it's safe to work within the parameters that they gave, not less.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we saw the fireball at the end. It was just a small fireball because there's hardly any propellant left. So at that point, there's only so much energy left in the vehicle. So it's not that big of a deal when it lands inside of SpaceX's own property. It didn't do any damage to surrounding infrastructure. It didn't cause any fires, and the wildlife preserved. There was like no real harm done by that test to any sort of public property or anything remotely close to that. So I agree with Doss. I think that previous test flight was a demonstration that should have been taken positively. But that being said, there could have been other things that the FAA may have not liked, such as that kayak that Chris G just mentioned that happened on a more recent static fire test.
Yeah, the range not being clear is definitely a big deal. Now that was days ago, right? How many days ago that was?
A week ago or something like that.
Yeah, a week ago. So,
January. It was January. I know that. Is it venting from the bottom?
Yes, it's sort of doing the dribbling venting thing,
where it's not doing detanking and everything.
Yeah.
And Will Cooper, I just wanted to throw your super chat up there too with the $10. Thank you so much. We were answering a very similar question, and I saw this in our super chat queue, and wanted to point it out again because it was germane to what we were talking about. So definitely thank you. Michael Stein with a $5 super chat saying thanks for the coverage, much appreciated, Michael. I'm seeing a lot. Hervey's with the 550 euros saying, fly me to 12 kilometers, please. I'm sure that's what SN9 is saying to itself. I can do it. Definitely. I see a lot of people in here saying like, oh, there are flights about to land in Brownsville, and things like that. Yeah, no, that's correct because the airspace is not closed above 7,200 feet. So planes that are above 7,200 feet, they are not violating any airspace requirement or exclusion zones right now. So yeah, no, the flights the flights that you're watching on FlightAware and Flight Radar going into everything are not a concern because there is no airspace closure notice that SpaceX would have had to have scrubbed for because those planes violated it. So that isn't what's happening here. The FAA did not approve the test flight and they aborted the countdown.
Yeah,
Right. And they just did a wet dress rehearsal.
And Brownsville is pretty far away. That airport is not within the flight restriction anyway. But there might have, I haven't been looking at flight radar, so there might have been some flights that you did see that were above 7,200 feet, but over that TFR, I have not checked. But like Chris mentioned, no temporary flight restriction up to unlimited altitude like there normally is for a test flight. There was one this morning, but it got canceled when the FAA said that they were not going to approve the test for today.
Right.
So presumably they just never approved it, and we're gonna have to see if SpaceX tries again tomorrow. Although we're still gonna hold out hope that something can change in the next 3 hours of this launch window, because we've not gotten any official word from Elon or SpaceX that they are actually standing down for today. So maybe they're gonna hold out hope that the FAA will give them a green light at 5:55 or something right before the window closes. We'll have to see, but as of now, they have aborted the countdown, and if they're going to make another attempt, they're going to be starting the countdown all over again.
Again, y'all, if you're just joining us, you're wondering, oh, when's the flight going to happen? Oh, it hasn't happened yet. We did see SpaceX go through what seemed to be all the motions progressing towards a potential flight. But then we had that question about the FAA certification, the frustrated tweet from Elon Musk, and then some actual reporters talking to the FAA and all across the board sort of concurring with the official sources that the FAA had not given permission. So we know there was a big bunch of stuff on social media, but the reporters got a hold of it, and FAA official statement was that they had not given permission for this flight. We did see SpaceX go all the way up through what seemed to be tanking an entire countdown, perhaps, and then go through a depressurization. So did not see anything beyond, well, I mean, we saw them go through all the motions that they would have gone through in order to do a flight had they gotten that official FAA permission. Looking at the vehicle right now, you can see there are a couple of vents that are just sort of petering out. They're not really doing much. You still see that ice on the side of SN9. Yeah. So we've got some frozen moisture from the atmosphere. Up at the very top, though, no longer seeing the ice ring for the header tank at the very tip of the nose cone. I'm going to say nose cone because then people know where to look, up on the very tip of the thing. But right now, Starship seems to be standing down. Very little activity, just very little venting even. And I would imagine that ice would begin to melt away here shortly based on what we've seen in the past.
Yeah. Now, there are a couple of good questions that just came in from chat. The first one is from Grayson asking, they can extend the restrictions, right? I'm talking about the road blocked or the space closure notices. Like if something happened and the AA changed their minds today and said, okay, like would it have to be just until 7 p.m. or could they, or 6 p.m. local time, or could they extend that?
We've seen them extend roadblocks in the past, things like TFRs and naval closures. Sorry, the water closures or water safety zones, probably a little bit more difficult to change. But the road closures are sort of the least concern. It's pretty easy to get those extended out.
Yeah, and I mean, there's usually the problem for extending the closures is the temporary flight restriction ending at a certain time, but the temporary flight restriction was already canceled, so today's a bit different. I mean, there's not really a hard cutoff. It's supposed to be done at 6 p.m. Central Time based on the road closures, but those are more fluid. And in fact, if SN9 had launched today and landed, my understanding is the road would have had to remain closed for numerous hours after the landing, well past 6 p.m. Closure official ending, just because it takes a while for all the residual propellant to boil off. So essentially, had it actually launched, it would have had to extend the road closures anyways, most likely. So they can easily extend the road closures. It's the temporary flight restrictions that's more firm, but again, those were already canceled. So
Yep.
I don't know. I just find it unlikely, though, that they're going to add new temporary flight restrictions. I've kind of been thinking that the entire time, but then when SpaceX started doing the propellant loading, you start second guessing yourself and going, well, maybe, such and such could happen, but it just doesn't seem likely at this point.
True. However, some more information that makes today kind of makes the other information that we've gotten is that the FAA was confirmed to Christian Davenport here a few minutes ago that the safety concerns they referenced are in fact on SN9, not elsewhere. So it is something with the vehicle that the FAA is not happy with.
So, because that's interesting, because we had been wondering about that kayak incident and whatnot, and presumably SpaceX has made appropriate adjustments to that clearing process. The FAA was fine with that. If Davenport is saying that the issue is specifically with the vehicle, so who knows what that means, but something on Starship SN9, I guess, is the problem, which, I mean, it's, unless it's like with the flight termination system, I mean, I just wonder if the FAA, like, does the FAA take into account how risky the test flight is? And do they say, like, well, if it has a 60% chance of failing, we don't want it to launch regardless of if the flight termination system will do its job and if the hazard area will be properly cleared? That's what I kind of wonder.
Right.
Because it seems like if the safety zone is enforced properly, they have the proper insurance, they have a flight termination system that is proven to function, and they're not like putting public property in serious jeopardy. I mean, does it really matter if it explodes or not from the FAA's standpoint if there's not going to be any safety concerns or threat to public property that's significant? I don't know. I mean, the flight is mostly straight up and straight down. It's not like it flies over property. So unless the flight termination system failed, it doesn't seem like it would be that big a deal if it fails. But I don't know. Who knows?
Well, we will continue. We're continuing to hang out here. There's still lots of time in the window, and normally we stay up until the road closures open up. And once they open up the road, then we're like, all right, the road's open. That's clear that there's nothing else happening. Or we'll get, a tweet from Elon that says, yeah, we're done. Now we're going to review the data. We'll get that sometimes, and that's an indication that they're done. Here today, I imagine at some point the residents of Boca Chica Village are going to hear from SpaceX and be allowed to return. They're evacuated right now, remember. So the residents are not allowed to be in their homes. They had to retreat to a safe distance miles away. And I don't know that we'll go all the way to a road opening or anything like that, but when those residents are told that they can return home and the evacuation is ended, for me, that's sort of where we are today with, okay, residents going back home, nothing else happening here. So we did see them go through that entire test, but just not, just sort of vented out at the end and depressurizing. It does look like that ice is beginning to melt from the sides of SN9 there.
Yep, and this is, if I imagine there's people watching right now who are new to Starship, this is, it's usually not this crazy, to be clear, but it is often crazy. It is very hard to tell what's happening. I would say today is like extra crazy, but normally it is very chaotic. It's a rapid iteration prototype program that is being run different than any other space development program, at least since the 1960s. I mean, people usually say, well, SpaceX is so innovative and crazy. Well, I mean, in the 1960s, they were also doing a lot of rapid prototyping, and they had a very high tolerance to failure. So I think SpaceX is kind of bringing back that previous rapid iteration development back to spaceflight that we hadn't seen for a while as things got more conservative. But it is very hard to tell what is happening sometimes. So we try to give you the best possible information, but I know today we're kind of like waffling back and forth between is it going to happen, is it not going to happen, and that's just sometimes the way it goes. The FAA says definitively no launch, then Elon, who's the CEO of SpaceX, says well, we're still trying. And then the FAA comes back and says absolutely no way. That's just sometimes how it goes with Starship and Boca Chica.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope people understand this isn't the sort of thing where SpaceX gave us a secret piece of paper that said exactly what's going on, and we're just not going to tell you, right? That's not how this works. SpaceX closes the roads and they...
Dos, what are you
what?
doing? Giving the secrets.
Oh, the
My
secrets!
Lord.
No! I'm giving away the secrets. Jeez, it's terrible. That's not how it is. They don't publicly announce these things like the T-0 and anything. I mean, today we might have gotten a T-0 when their stream went live, if that even happened, right? But that would have been a minute or two beforehand. Then it's done and it's over. So we're not like trying to withhold information. When we try to say, well, we got to get official confirmation, let's figure out exactly what's going on here. We want to make sure that we're reporting accurate information. We're not going to scream at you, oh, there's a Cessna flying over, that's why it's scrubbed, or oh, the engines are all broken, that's why it's scrubbed. Like, we could make up all sorts of things, but we want to make sure that we actually rely on real sources, official statements, and that sort of stuff. Just making it very clear that what we tell you is something you can trust, as opposed to, we just want to tell you, gosh, we're just going to tell you something, please just believe this. That's not how we are. So thank you so much for understanding. We will tell you that sometimes we don't know. And we will tell you that sometimes here's what we maybe think based on what we can see, and here's some possibilities on what might be happening, but we will tell you sometimes that we do not know the answer. We cannot tell you exactly what's going on. So just sort of reading through, I know there's a lot of frustration with it not flying today, but you can see the ice is continuing to melt on the side of SN9.
That's the normal thing we see happen when they detank, is that a bunch of ice forms as they unload the propellant. And again, the window, at least the previous window lasted until 6 p.m. I'm not sure if that could change, as we were mentioning earlier, but the highest probability right now is that this will be it for today. I really don't know for sure, though, until Elon or SpaceX tweets, but it's just without the FAA approval at this point. It seems unlikely they're going to get it so late in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows how late the FAA even works?
Yep, and multiple sources confirming that as well. Michael? I don't know the answer to this. Maybe Chris would know this. When you say, "Oh, we need FAA approval," is there like the FAA Texas office, and that's who they're working with? Is it FAA in Washington D.C. that they have to go through? Do we know where they have to go? Like what time? What I'm asking is, what time zone are those offices in?
I think Washington D.C., right?
I believe the FAA is headquartered in Washington D.C. Yeah, but I would imagine, but I don't think the FAA doesn't operate like 9 to 5. Sure, some department do, but like when we're talking about the need to close airspace or rearrange, like there are people on duty 24/7.
But I mean, in terms of licensing, though, not in terms of.
Well, that's why I said, like, I can't speak for every single department, but like, who do you coordinate with is the overall FAA. There isn't like a Texas FAA or this, although there would be various divisions that handle the various regions around the country, but to get full approval, you're still working with the space division, which is based out of DC.
Gotcha. That's what I was curious. I didn't know if it was like, well, it's 4:23 Eastern right now, and they pack up and go home at 5 o'clock for these licenses or whatever. I mean, clearly you would hope that if it really was something that could happen, somebody could stay a little later or something. But that's just not how it works, So that was the purpose of asking the question.
Yeah.
I'm going to read a couple super chats here really quickly because we have burned an awful lot of data today, showing y'all, sharing what's going on out there at Boca Chica. Even though it was a lot of hurry up and wait, there was still a lot of cool stuff that we were able to do. So let me read some of these. We're able to do this because of your support. Clark Hendry, thank you so much for the $5. Pauline Brock is a new member. We appreciate you, Pauline, as is Jenna Carpenter. Welcome to NASA Space Flight. Irfan Khan, welcome. Thank you so much for the support. We've got SFW Nick. Thanks, Nick. we've got Patrick Stewart saying SpaceX needs a Twitter for Boca Chica. So I mean, they've got a Twitter. They've got an official Twitter, but it's the experimental program, and they don't release a lot of information about the experimental program. Hey, that may work for them, Jack. Check your stuff. That may work for them. So maybe there's more excitement that's generated because they don't make official announcements, right? I don't know. Let's see here. There are a lot of really big questions in here, so I can't answer all the questions. Jack, you're okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. What's up?
Okay, cool. I just saw your camera go crazy for a second. I was just making sure you're okay.
Checking back channels.
Copy. Yep. So I'm going to keep reading some of these. Robin Johansson, thank you so much for the support. Let's see. Advertisement for a Minecraft server? Okay. We appreciate the support there. Let's see. Bartos Sternal says, God bless Elon, the champion of modern spaceflight. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who are excited about Elon, that's for sure. Thank you for the support there. We've got Chris Hyde as well. Tariq Zayud. Let's see. Do you have your own camera feed? Yes, Tariq. All the cameras that I can cut to are cameras that are deployed, maintained, operated, paid for, bandwidthized by members of the NASA spaceflight team. It's not just one person doing it. We have Mary. This camera right here is Mary's live feed. She's the resident of Boca Chica, and she gets all that fantastic stuff from the daily videos. We've also got inside the danger zone a couple robotic cameras deployed. This up-close shot is in the like near the village over there. So this is an uncrewed camera, but this is something that I built here in my garage and then deployed out there. We can log into it remotely and point it around. We've got one at another angle. This is also a robotic camera that we can talk to via an uplink and bring in video feeds from. You can point it around. It's like a security style PTZ. And then we've also got a long-range camera online. This one is way back at South Padre Island. So we've got this one sort of set up for the flight there in that sort of mode, but that is way back at South Padre Island. Also, this camera actually provided by PTZ Optics. So it's not a weatherproof camera. It's like a professional broadcast PTZ built into one of our robotic uplinks so that we can control it remotely. There's nobody near the camera right now, but we can still point it and zoom in and zoom out and bring the feed, spool the feed up, turn the feed off, and all that sort of stuff. And we have one more camera out there. Jack is resetting his camera right now, so I can't switch to that feed, but all of the cameras that we have are our NASA spaceflight feeds. We really go through a lot of work to make these things work, whether it's building the robotic cameras that we can leave deployed or people actually crewing cameras like Mary out there at this point has hundreds of hours operating that broadcast uplink to send us live feeds from her camera, and she has been all over Boca Chica covering these sorts of things for us. So a good question. That's something that I can talk a lot about because I'm clicking here watching the feeds and deciding which cameras to show and that sort of thing. But thank you, Tariq, for giving me an excuse to talk about cameras. Yeah, so many questions. How much is the fine to launch without an approval? That's not, you don't even want to go into that. Like, you do not want.
Not just a fine.
Yeah.
Jail time, loss of many launch contracts, major fines and lawsuits, and nothing that SpaceX would even consider doing.
Yeah, that is just not a thing. Pat Main says, thanks for the coverage. We appreciate you, Pat. Anson Brooks says, I'm happy to watch and learn. Thank you, Anson. Glad you're joining us here today. Melanie Kemp is a member. Tony Ganner, thanks for the Australian dollars all the way from the other side of the world. Question from Tom Viggers, how many tests are planned this year? Good question. And what is a test? Like a test flight? A pressure test, a static fire test, a cryo test? Are they going to orbit? SpaceX does a lot with this experimental program, and there are a lot of things. Just about every single day, there's something interesting to see coming out of Boca Chica, and we're able to share that with y'all because Mary is out there every day chronicling the history that's happening as SpaceX tries to get this Mars rocket program working. So thank you so much for the support there, Tom. Let's see. Jamie Rose, Dojan SpaceX to the moon. Nice. I mean, this rocket may end up on the moon one day. There's actually a painted white cone behind this camera that is the HLS. I guess it's like an HLS mock-up or prototype, and the HLS is the Human Lander System, a NASA project to land human beings on the moon. So this is one of the contenders for that program. And you could Doge and SpaceX to the moon, but this may be a real thing that we see in the coming years. Let's see. Am I clear to keep on going, or do we have an update there?
Nope, you're good to go.
Okay, just making sure. So Rocket Chaser, appreciate the $5. Church Priest, I don't know how to say the first part of that. Welcome to the membership, joining the NASA spaceflight family. Christian Hansel, yeah, right there when it was go time, we were on a rocket ourselves, over 100,000 viewers. I think we got up to like $1.25 or something like that. So we really do appreciate all y'all showing up and hanging out with us while we tried to guess what everybody's intentions were here today. So let's see here. Still reading through. Mavlor, thanks for the $5. Some trolley super chats here. Every now and then somebody will pay us money to try and trick me into saying something that's not true. Not my first rodeo. Thanks for the $6.99 Canadian. Appreciate you. Charlie M. During this moment, Elon is cool as a cucumber. Well, either that or somebody took his Twitter away. He did have that one passionate tweet about the FAA's policies, but yeah. Let's see here. Jonas Pfeiffer says, I'm ready for a surprise launch. Nice, a surprise launch. Greetings from Zittau, Germany. Keep going, guys. Thank you, Jonas, with your support. We'll keep on keeping on. Mr. Scotty, launch SN9. If it were up to us, we would also follow the FAA guidelines and wait till we had approval. Thank you, Mr. Scotty, for the support. I'm scrolling all over the map. There's no way I can get through all these. Mike Beaton, Martin Klavzar, Cyber Merlin? I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Maybe it is. Appreciate the support. Michael Parker was in there as well. All Day Entertainment. Torstein. Nice. Torstein is All Day Entertainment. Push that like button, everyone. Where are we at? I haven't checked in a while. 27,000 likes. That's a lot of likes. I don't know if, have we ever gotten a video that has 30,000 likes?
I don't know, but
I don't know.
Only one way to find out, and that's to do it and then check.
I don't know if we can increase that number some. If you haven't hit the like button yet and you like this sort of thing, I guess that's why it has a like button. You can indicate your approval of our content by clicking on the little thumbs up on here, isn't it? I think it is. Wow, it's already to 29, it looks like. So across the board, thank you all so much for the support. I think that might actually get over 30 if y'all keep clicking. There's 29 too. Hey, if you haven't followed the channel yet, you can click subscribe as well. If you subscribe to the channel, you can not only get the daily videos, the updates from Boca Chica, we also do some cool weekly, monthly style videos for processing things at the port, a really cool time-lapse of how SpaceX recovers Falcon 9 rockets, bringing them back in on the drone ship and bringing them up to over the cranes and off the ships and that sort of stuff. And then we also do weekly updates. So a lot of our daily videos don't have commentary, but if you want commentary once a week, we usually put out a commentary version where we give you an update of what happened over the course of the week. And I'll make sure everybody's clear. We don't just cover SpaceX. It's just SpaceX is the one doing the most stuff right now that we get to cover. We also cover rocket launches out of the Cape. We cover rocket launches from Antares, from Wallops up there at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport. Super clever. That says Mars. Yeah, but we've been over to Vandenberg. We've got stuff from Spaceport America. Oil rig coming into Pascagoula. We captured that Phobos oil rig just the other day and revealed that it was sailing into Pascagoula, Mississippi for some modifications to support the Starship operations. So we're sort of all over the map. If that's the sort of content you're looking for, live streams, videos, whatever it is, this is the right place to click subscribe. You don't want to miss the live streams. Turn on the notifications as well. Whew. That sounds good. Sounds good. And folks, we've been sort of coming and going here with our live commentary. Chris Gebhardt was on just a little bit earlier, and he's going to be stepping like Chris. Do we still have you on? Are you going to say bye?
Yes, I'm still here. Yes.
Okay, good deal. So, y'all, this is the voice of Chris Gebhardt. Chris, say hi real quick.
Hello, everyone. It's been wonderful being with you. Today, I'm going to go ahead and leave you in the capable hands of Das, Jack, and Michael. I've got some stuff I need to go write and get ready for tomorrow. So I am going to bow out to go make sure that I can get that. So,
busy.
What an interesting day. I guess we'll see what the rest of it brings, right?
I guess so. Again, y'all, that's Chris Gebhardt. He's the assistant managing editor for NASA Spaceflight, purveyor of fine articles. So if reading is more your thing, we got some articles that come through just about every day, it seems, right, Chris?
Yes, we do.
So
which is exactly what I'm going to go do now for tomorrow. Yes.
Over on Twitter, Chris_NSF. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks, Das.
All righty. Whew. Well, I'm just sort of jumping all over the place here. There's Jack's camera across the way. This is actually a public viewing location, Isla Blanca Park. And Jack has posted up over there clearly with a telephoto lens, right? It doesn't look like this if you're looking with the Mark I eyeball. But the waterway is still open. You'll see ships, boats, dolphins right on cue. Thank you, dolphin. There was a dolphin that just jumped across the ship channel there as well. Not jumped across the ship channel. Did the little dolphin thing in the water in the ship channel.
Here comes a boat.
And boats. Nice. We'll have some boats as well. So, anyways, folks, there's no way that I can read all of these. Sun Express, okay. Here's some beer money. Thanks for the effort. We appreciate you, son. Thank you for the $20. There goes a pontoon boat. Just sort of pontooning by. There's no way I can read them all. I may have to give up here. Hey, Roger Bach just sent some lunch money for Jack. No better way to test your adrenaline than watch an SN9 stream. Ain't that the truth? Michael, where's
Roger?
No, I was going to take the question.
Oh, okay.
But thanks, Roger. Yes, definitely. Thanks, Roger.
Sure.
We really appreciate everybody's support. But the question was, will SN9 could the FAA ever block SN9 from ever flying? And I mean, technically, yes. If SpaceX never meets or satisfies the FAA's requirements, the FAA is never going to let SN9 fly. So SpaceX has to meet all the requirements, and of course, if they do that, then the FAA will not block SpaceX from flying. So, I mean, technically, yes, to answer your question. Dolphin was worth the stream, says John. I think I agree with that.
Just right as I was on Jack's camera there, we got the jump from the dolphin. I like it.
When is the orbital launch pad necessary and the test pads are not enough? So I will actually, since it doesn't seem like there's a ton of activity at the pad right now as the detanking processes continue, I will move this camera over and I'll show everyone what the orbital launch pad is in case you are new to Starship. So they are building a different launch pad separate to the launch stand that Starship SN9 is currently on, and that is called the Orbital Launch Pad. You can see right there. It's still under construction, but it is going to be designed to be a bit beefier and able to withstand the force of more Raptor engines. So the current stands can support about 3 Raptor engines. This stand will be able to support much more Raptor engines firing at once, enough Raptor engines to support orbital launches. We're not quite sure exactly how many launches or how many Raptor engines this stand will be able to support. SpaceX has said they are targeting 28 Raptor engines on the Super Heavy booster. I'm not sure though if we will see all 28 engine Super Heavy boosters launching from Boca Chica, but that orbital launch stand will be able to support a lot more thrust than the current launch stand. So you can see the support beams on that stand are much thicker than what you see over at SN9's test stand.
Yes. Switch back over to the other test stand there real quick. Yeah.
So you've got this, thinner pipes or steel struts,
Girders almost.
girders, whatever you want to call it, compared to those several feet in diameter, concrete-filled pillars that the orbital launch stand has.
Yep. Again, folks, to recap, look at SN9. We saw it full up with ice down there on the LOX tank, and all of that ice is melted just like we predicted. We got that big depress vent. Sometimes it's a little confusing because you get the depress vent and then the ice seems to increase. You're like, what's going on? Why is the ice increasing? I thought you said they were detanking. It takes a little bit of time for that ice to form sometimes, so there's a little bit of a delay between the time that the tank gets cold and the time that it ices over. And then there's another delay after it starts to melt. But this is looking like a Starship SN9 that has been detanked here. Very likely that it is standing down for operations. You see just a little bit of venting, almost the last of the venting coming out from that lower vent. So we're still watching. We usually stay online until the roads are open. We get some official tweet from SpaceX. Today the residents go back to their village, but we're not. Here you go. The shrimp boat going out. Every time a boat goes by Jack's screen, no!
Oh, classic.
It's a rookie mistake, and you hate to see it.
Would it be a stream with Jack without his camera running out of battery?
Hey, Jack. Just so you know, your battery's dead on the camera.
It's okay. SN9 is fully detanked at this point. I don't think Jack is going to miss much. When would the road normally finish or reopen? Asks Daniel. It's a good question. So once they're done testing, SpaceX will tell the sheriff that it is safe to open the road, and then that would happen. Usually when the road reopens, it's a pretty definitive sign that they're done for today. That's actually one of the key indicators that we look for when we wrap up a normal static fire live stream or something similar. So we will keep an eye on that road closure and see if the road reopens. Of course, Mary is also down there, and if Mary gets word that it's safe for her to return to her home, that will also be another good indication that they are done for today.
Right. So again, y'all, a lot of very interesting stuff going on today. Did not see the launch. Hoping that whatever's going on with the FAA and the safety concerns they have about SN9 are cleared up. There are still, Michael, tomorrow, right? Do they still have the clear to space TFR set for tomorrow? Last we checked?
The road closure for tomorrow is only until 2 p.m. I think they're trying to get the beach opened in the afternoon for the public if possible, but I think if SpaceX were really going to make a good shot tomorrow, they could probably work with the county to get that extended. The TFR is the main launch window determining factor, and that lasts until 6 p.m. Or technically 5:59 p.m. So the official window for tomorrow is 9 a.m. to 5:59 p.m. Central Time.
Yep. So again, we're waiting for some official confirmation that they are absolutely done today. But the activity on Starship, we've watched a couple tanks down there in Texas in our time, and the activity that we're seeing does make it look like Starship is standing down for the day. Here approaching 3:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. So again, I am going to continue to apologize. There's no way that I can read all of these super chats. There's just no way. Hey, Ketlin Gray, how's it going? I recognize this name. It's an insane day that didn't appear at the top whenever I clicked on it, Michael. I was going to read it. And
what did it say? Sorry, I can find it.
It was just the last one that came into the queue there.
Okay, I can find it, I think.
All right, good deal.
I still need to fix that problem.
Yeah, I clicked to display it, and it magically evaporated, like somebody snapped their fingers. Yes.
Okay, I got it. It should be at the top of the queue, right? No, never mind, I lied.
Well, don't do that, Michael. Jeez.
Okay, now it should be at the top of the queue. Or the bottom of the
Wait,
queue. I'm not
like
sure
the top of the queue or the bottom of the queue? All right, I'm clicking
bottom,
again.
the bottom. There you go. It's there.
There you go. All right, I got
it.
it.
Caitlin,
So
your message has been recovered.
There you go. It's an insane day, and thank you for covering it, guys. We're in Russia, waiting here with you. I'm just gonna go with Katya. Pavlovchenko, I think.
Yeah, she's the one on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I know. I recognize the name. So, P.S. Good luck. Thank you so much for all your informative tweets, by the way. We appreciate you. Glad we're able to contribute to the space news awareness over here in our backyard, or our front yard, side yard, whatever Boca Chica is. Thank you so much for the support, and thanks for tuning in.
And thank you so much for translating all the Russian space news articles so that I can understand them.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't read them all. Here's Chris Gedge giving Jack some new batteries. Here's 2 pounds for new batteries. Oh, Nick Rule Creator, thanks guys for everything you do. We've got Melissa Moran saying, appreciate all your hard work, the 1999 there. Thank you, Melissa. 20 euros from Alessandro Mimo. Thanks for what you're doing and the passion you have. Greetings from Germany. So thank you much. Thank you so much, Alessandro. We appreciate you. It's been a long day. It's been a very long day today. Let's see here. Chad, must not be Chad's first rodeo around here. Chad said, always enjoy the 8 hours into tank watching banter. Did y'all reach 100K watching today? I know it was close. BZ, y'all on a great stream. I was showing at max right there when it was go time. We were almost up to $130. 127 is the resolution I have on this wacky little graph. 2.5 million views, Michael.
Wow.
Jeez. But yeah, you sit here for 8 hours. How long have we been live? What's the server say? 8 hours and 52 minutes. We're coming up on 9 hours live because we went live with the sunrise, that fantastic view from the very beginning of the stream with Mary. She posted up right there in the perfect position for the sun to rise behind SN9. And if you scrolled back 8 hours and 50 minutes, you'd be looking at that fantastic sunrise that we started with this morning. So thank you so much for the support there. Hey, Matt Green, we're on OBS. We probably need to not be on OBS because we are probably pushing the boundaries of what OBS can do, especially on a co-located server. It's sort of decentralized so that multiple of us can log in, and we probably need to upgrade at some point. But thanks for the question there.
Depress vent right there.
Yep, look at that from the side. Let me see if I can get that from the bot. Yep, you can see it right there too.
So this is normally what to do when they finish detanking and they are letting out the remaining pressure within Starship. This usually takes a couple of minutes, and then the next step is either they will restart the countdown and try again, or they will most likely reopen the pad and crews will return to the pad as they are done for today. So we will stand by to find out which direction this is going to go.
So again, y'all, there's both events going now, Michael. You can see both events.
Yeah.
And this is sort of, they leave, I don't know if this is exactly how it works, but here's what I imagine. The tanks stay pressurized, and I don't know if that helps the cryo liquid leave the tank by leaving some pressure in it or whatever, right? But then once they get it completely detanked, they've recovered all the liquid oxygen and liquid methane that they can, then they sort of just open the tanks to the outside and they let the remainder of the pressure release. You'll sort of see this start to decrease in intensity. It'll get weaker and weaker and weaker with these depressurization vents, and it'll just be sort of done. And that seems to be them losing or leaving the rest of the pressure out of the tank. So this is an indication, like Michael said, this entire cycle is done. It could be that they're done for the day, or it could be that we see the recondenser fire up again, and then we go through the whole process again. Pretty sure, confirmed by multiple sources, the FAA is not granting approval today. So even if we saw it, certainly they could go through another wet dress rehearsal. Practice makes perfect, for sure, and you got all hands on deck for the flight anyways, so why not go through a practice session or something like that? Starship, with its design for reusability, can go through a lot of these cycles. It's not like, well, once you do it 9 times, we've got to throw it away, or whatever. 22 times, but maybe they'll practice again. We don't know. We'll keep watching what's happening here. Oh, jeez. Hey, Andy Spicer, thank you for this. I appreciate you very much. Saying 2021 for the NSF guys having more journalistic integrity than our regular journalists do. I mean, Andy, we heavily lean on some of the official space journalists as well. Like we got that official statement from Christian Davenport talking to the FAA over there. So we do want to have journalistic integrity regardless of what anybody else does. And we just want y'all to know that when you come here, yeah, hey, we get really excited. It's hype sometimes, but we also try to temper it with some reality, and we want to make sure that we're giving you as accurate information as we can possibly provide. Thank you so much for the $20 and the vote of trust there. It means a lot to me personally, even. Let's see here. And Michael, if there's anything else to go on, just let me know. I'm just reading.
I'm trying to get information for us.
Okay.
So I'm working.
I will keep.
Sorry, I'm not talking more. If you have any questions to throw my way, just feel free to do it.
Yeah, I'm just saying I will continue doing the talking because that's what I do best, and you continue doing the back end research, which is one of the many things you do fantastically. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. Oh, so many diamond hands over here in chat. I like it. I get it. You like your Dogecoin. This is an interesting thing to talk about really quickly from Jorgen B. Will the engineering process for Super Heavy go faster than Starship? It's basically a larger Falcon 9 rocket. We've talked about that in the past, where Starship has some more complicated systems. It's got the flaps, it's got the nose cone, it's got the tankage in the back, and then it's got the cargo area in the front, and then the skirt with the Raptor engines in it. It's eventually going to have two different types of Raptor engines, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But how does that work? How does that map against Super Heavy? Super Heavy is just a big stack of two tanks, stainless steel, slap some engines on the bottom and go to town, right? So is it going to be easier for them to develop Super Heavy, stack some rings, close off some bulkheads, put some engines on, and ship it than it was Starship? And I do think that we'll see a little bit faster progress on Super Heavy, not only because it's a little bit, I don't want to say simpler vehicle, less complex vehicle, lacking some of the control surfaces and stuff, but also they learned a lot putting together the Starship prototypes. So how do you weld? How do you stack these things? What's the efficient way to move things around the floor, et cetera, et cetera? All those different things. They've learned a lot, and they've got a lot of experience doing it. So you may see Starship Super Heavy come to the booster actually come together more quickly because of what they've learned and the fact that it's not quite as complicated. So, oops. And there's the report. Yeah. All right. Okay. So let me see if I can get that on the screen real quick. But we have a report from Mary that she is officially free to head home. So the village evacuation is off, and Mary can officially head back to her house there in the village. That's one of the things we were waiting for, wasn't it, Michael?
Yes, so absolutely 0% chance of a flight today, and we will stay tuned for the next launch date. I don't think we have that information yet, but if it is tomorrow, which is the earliest possible attempt based on the flight restrictions, you can bet good money that we will be going live bright and early, perhaps with another merry sunrise. Depending on, I don't know what the evacuations will be tomorrow. It's possible if they want to attempt at a different point in the window, they could evacuate the village earlier than they did today. But if Mary is able to get out there for a sunrise, I think that worked out great today. That was absolutely awesome to start off the morning with that awesome sunrise with the flaps moving. That was quite incredible. But anyway, earliest possible time we would go live is something that we will confirm on our YouTube channel tonight. If we get confirmation of a flight attempt tomorrow, we will publish the stream link, and that will have the go live time that we are planning for. So stay tuned for that link if we get confirmation, and looking forward to the next attempt.
Yeah, there's that tweet on the screen right there. Mary telling the world, well, I should probably do this, huh? Let's do it live on the stream. Retweet. Mary telling the world, I've been notified that I can return home to Boca Chica Village. Starship SN9 didn't fly today, and hashtag WinHop continues with the NASA spaceflight tag in there. So that is one of the indicators we were waiting for. The village becoming no longer evacuated, the residents returning to their home, officially confirming that we will have no further exciting activity today. So, like Michael said, we will be standing by for tomorrow. Hey, if you want to continue to show your own excitement in terms of when these hops may occur, you can always head on over to the NASA Spaceflight Merchandise store. We've got a little bit of a shop with a bunch of different things, cool prints and stuff like that. If I bring it back up again, there we go. A merch store, and if you're wondering when the hop is going to occur, you can get your very own Win Hop T-shirt. Somebody put that link in the chat really quickly. That hashtag Win Hop. We've got Hoppy there on the T-shirt, and we've got the hashtag Win Hop. There's a couple. I think there's a couple different colors, isn't there? Oh yes, there's Heather Raspberry. All right. I mean, there you go. I know there's also the hat, isn't there? Oh, there's the hoodie now. Apparently, we've released the hoodie today, but there is the Win Hop hat. If you would like to let everybody see, I need to get me one of these because it matches my low-profile ball cap with the Win Hop thing on the side.
When's the Win FAA hat coming?
Oh, the Win FAA. Oh no. There's all sorts of different cool stuff in the merch store, y'all. We've got these, the Deimos and Phobos helipad t-shirts. Those were new from the stream we did the other day, based on the design that Jack photographed from the airplane as he flew over Deimos right there over at Boca Chica. So that's another shirt we've got in there if that's more your style. Old school Texas Tank Watchers merch, always a thing. And then some awesome prints. So Mary takes these fantastic sunrise photos, and we take some choice selections from those, and you can get them either as like art style framings or poster prints that you can frame or hang yourself. So that's on the store. What is this? Why do we have a wind crab sticker on this? Really? I was not notified of this. Oh, geez. And the unfortunate one for today, the Eat, Sleep, Scrub, Repeat shirt that we have in the store. You hate it, but the reality is every now and then this is the right shirt to be wearing for the day. And yeah, that is another thing that you get over there in the NASA Spaceflight merch shop. So there's that link. Harry, spam it a few times. Just put that link in there like 4 times so people can click on it. It's easier when there's more links to click on. But that is a fantastic way that you can support the show and allow us to afford data and stuff like that. All the different expenses that we have, the cameras, the robots that we put together, shipping stuff. It's not cheap to ship the robots and to insure them and that sort of stuff. Of course, Mary being out there as well. Jack has been living in a hotel for I don't even know how long, across the board. It does take a lot of effort and it does take some funding to make these streams happen. And however y'all help support us, whether it's a super chat that I didn't read today, because there's no way that I can read all the super chats. There's so many good super chats. Or you're buying stuff from the merch store, you're watching daily videos and letting ads roll or whatever it is. We just appreciate you across the board for making all of this coverage possible. Whew. How'd I do? Did I do okay?
Good. I think you did it better than I could have done it. So
I've done it a couple times.
Yeah, I don't know what the plan is from here. Should we start wrapping up? Should we answer more questions?
Well, so from my perspective, we're going to have a long day tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too.
Yep. We've got
I just don't want to be the one that spoils the party for 39,000 people who are for some reason still watching. So.
Oh my gosh. You know, we have 39,000 people watching, but only 31,000 likes. How does that work? Actually, that's really not bad. God, I don't. It just feels so bad. Like I would never stop a stream with this many people watching, but we got to do this again tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm gonna update the title of the video too, so that people do not think there's going to be a flight test anymore. I'll put scrub on the screen as well. But to be clear, there's no test flight anymore. SpaceX just gave Mary the official word that there's not going to be a test flight. So Mary's a local resident who had to evacuate, and if they're telling her that she can come back, there is no chance of a flight today.
Yeah.
We do not want to clickbait people into coming when there's not going to be a test flight.
Yep. Again, y'all, that's very important to us. It's every now and then it's like, oh, clickbait, oh, you're just fooling people into watching the stream, and we're never intending to do that. We want y'all to know that when this channel here goes live, there's something you want to see, or at least there's a good indication that there may be something you want to see. It may be 8 hours of watching a tank and then nothing happens because the paperwork doesn't come through, but we always want to make sure y'all are aware what's going on whenever we go live. I'll read a couple more super chats here. Just a couple more super chats. And let me see what I can get. Memberships, Taylor Aristocrat, Paul LaMadeline. Thank you for the $20 there, Paul. Thank you for today. Have a great night. Hear you tomorrow. Let's get a little closer to Starship there, too. Craig Moss is a new member. Aaron Gagne? I don't know how to say your name there. Says, thank you, gentlemen, for your coverage. Been here since you went live.
Wow.
Thank you for through my workday. That's 9 hours.
Good job. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Oh, here's Yannick Burgess. Wow, I don't know how to pronounce that, but greetings from Germany. Thanks for the awesome work you do. We've got Paulius Norkus. Greetings from Lithuania. Look at that. Lithuania. Thomas Dowse, what's your favorite cereal? Lucky Charms? I don't know. Michael? Cereal?
Frosted Flakes.
Frosted Flakes. All right. Frosted Flakes, Lucky Charms. Two staples of the morning breakfast cereal rotation there. Appreciate the support there. $15, Thomas. I'm still scrolling through. Ocean Breeze with a quick question. Why did SpaceX choose Boca Chica as their site for Starship? Why did SpaceX choose Boca Chica? It's a little bit remote, right? It's sort of out on its own. Of course, the village there, the people that lived in the village, that was one consideration. But it's also pretty far south, so it's close to the equator. You get a little bit more oomph from the rotation of the Earth when you're trying to make orbit. And also, eastward trajectories go over a large body of water. It's all the way down there at the southern tip of the southern tip of Texas. And when you launch to the east, you're going out over the Gulf of Mexico. So you're not launching over an inhabited area or anything like that. You will eventually, for a lot of trajectories, cross Florida, but at that point in the flight, you're so far up that you don't pose a big flight risk flying over land. So that's sort of one of the reasons they were looking at Boca Chica out there, where it is on the Earth, and where it is specifically without being inside of a big city or something like that. So Ocean Breeze, hope that answered your question. Thank you so much for the support. I'm just scrolling through. I mean, I can't get them all. Michael, does it do a count, like how many super chats came in? Does the software do that anywhere?
Oh yeah, if we want chat statistics, I have every chat message in our system until we go live again. So far, we've had almost 65,000 total chat messages sent that the software we have has recorded. I'm sure there was more messages that might have gotten taken away by the anti-spam filter, but 65,000 legitimate messages at least. So
how many times were the words "when hop" spoken in chat?
I can actually find that out.
Oh no.
There was
know.
Only 423.
Oh wow. That's not. Where's all the WinHop lovers? Jeez. Hey, again, y'all, I'm going to keep repeating it. It is officially scrubbed. You can see it at the top of the screen. You can see it in the video title as well. It is officially scrubbed for the day. It is not happening today. The residents of Boca Chica Village are returning to Boca Chica Village. It is not going to happen today. There's some WinHops, Michael. Oh, geez. Hashtag engagement. So it is not happening today. There will be no flight of SN9 today. Going to be looking towards tomorrow and seeing if they have an opportunity to fly tomorrow or if they have the appropriate FAA paperwork to fly tomorrow. Some safety concerns the FAA says they had with SN9. Didn't say if that was the vehicle itself or its trajectory or exactly what those concerns were, but safety concerns causing them not to not to grant a launch license for a flight today. So officially scrubbed, like scrub-a-lub-a-dub-dub mode, not happening today. I'm going to try to read a couple here, y'all, but we are spooling down the stream to get a little bit of rest for tomorrow. Andy Skews, thank you so much for the Canadian dollar, saying, fantastic job, guys. Greatly appreciate all your excellent insights into the launch process. Thank you so much, Andy. We appreciate you there. Yeah. Jeremy Matthews, this is from a while ago. $20. Did they remove the flight termination system, or can you judge? Yeah, there was a minute there where it was a little bit difficult to see the FTS, basically the explosive package on the side of SN9. And once we sort of re-looked at it and squinted down to 2010, we did confirm that it was just the haze making it a little hard to see. So thank you, Jeremy, there. Let's see here. I have to put this one on the screen. It says, please, don't even try to pronounce my name. It's the Hungarian equivalent of Gregory. Keep up the awesome work, guys. Conquer FAA and let SN9 fly. Oh, jeez. Gurgly? You told me not to do it. I did it anyways. I'm really bad at following instructions. Gurgelli. I don't know. Gurgelli. Gurgelli. Thank you so much for the super chat and the statement, the message that made me laugh. Appreciate you there. Again, just doing one final pass through here, making sure we haven't been sitting on like a $500 super chat for 2 hours or something. No way I can read them all. This is the tiniest scroll bar I've ever clicked. There's like 15 new memberships in a row. What did I say that made like 15 people join NASA spaceflight all at the same time there? I don't even understand. I should say it again though. Oh, here's one. Yeah, Avon C. So much enthusiasm for what's going on right now. This is like a roller coaster. Thanks for all the coverage. Couldn't help myself, but had to get that Eat, Sleep, Scrub, Repeat shirt. enjoy the shirt, Avon. Wear it with pride and be the coolest rocket chasing person who also has a firm grip on reality amongst all of your friends. Show it off by wearing the shirt. See here. More people just saying thanks for the coverage. Memberships, win hop. There's some yen saying win hop. Yes. Folks, I think we're coming up on the end of the live stream here. I do believe it is time for us to spool it down. I could read super chats for the next like 3 hours and I wouldn't get through all these super chats because I keep reading them and then more people keep putting super chats in and then I never end. It never finishes. But Michael, is there anything else we should pass on in closing here today, or should I start rolling the outro?
The only thing I can think of is to remind everyone that there is a potential launch opportunity tomorrow, Friday. The window opens around, well, the testing window opens around 8 a.m. Central Time, but it takes about an hour for them to load propellant into the vehicle, so probably around 9 a.m. is the earliest possible flight test time, and we'll be live before that if a test flight is indeed going to happen. Mary will stay tuned, obviously, with the SpaceX coordinators to find out when she is going to evacuate, and if she gets that go-ahead, that will be a good sign that there is going to be a test tomorrow, and in which case we will set up another live stream link for you all to watch. So stay tuned for tomorrow, and if it's not tomorrow, soon after.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, one more time, y'all. Here is the tweet from Mary. This is why we're calling the stream right here. This is why we're calling the stream, because Mary has been granted permission to go back to the village, no longer evacuated. So that is why the stream is over. No possibility of a flight throughout the rest of the day with the residents returning to the village. So I'm going to say thank you to everybody involved in these broadcasts really quickly, starting with y'all, chat. Thank you so much for stopping through and sharing this event with us. We all know that we wanted to see it fly. But it doesn't happen. That's how it goes sometimes. We'll be back at it the next time that they get a good event. Like Michael said, tomorrow morning is their next possibility. So we'll be watching what's going on. And we will be right here on the channel again. Hey, also, y'all over on the Twitch side, I do not forget about you. You know that I sneak over there and I chat sort of in the back channel with y'all on occasion. Thank y'all so much for the support over on the Twitch side. I'm up to 6-something years doing streaming here, and it all started on my Twitch channel over on Twitch. Why am I saying the word Twitch so many times? I'm just going to say thank you to all the original OG viewers over on my Twitch channel who stood by me and supported me as I got to the point where we could sort of do these sorts of streams and went from playing Kerbal Space Program all the way up to doing virtual field trips at museums. And then here we are watching live Starship SN9 on multiple robotic cameras. All this is possible because the Twitch people over there believed in me 6 years ago and showed up to my stream when I first started it up. Also, multiple guests throughout the studio today. You heard from Chris Bergen and Chris Gebhardt earlier. Chris Bergen's the founder of NASA Spaceflight with the Yorkshire accent there. If there's one Twitter in all the ones that I'm about to tell you that you need to follow, it's that one right there, at NASA Spaceflight. That is like the main clearinghouse for all things NASA Spaceflight, all the things we cover, the articles we do, photographers pulling in remote photos of launches, live streams, snide remarks, everything is right there on that Twitter account. So if you click on one thing, go to at NASA Spaceflight on Twitter and toss it a follow. Chris Gebhardt is the assistant managing editor of NASA Spaceflight. He handles all the articles and a bunch of the live stream commentary here, based out at Cape Canaveral. He's Chris G_NSF on Twitter, and massive thanks to him for everything he does to make all of this possible. And y'all got it. Mods, Harry Young, thank y'all so much. You're putting those clickable links in chat so people can click right there and follow these accounts. That is exactly what I need y'all to do. That's fantastic. Let's see here. Thomas Berghardt was on as well. So he is one of our commentators, writers, live stream hosts. You will hear his dulcet tones on occasion on the live stream. He'll be back tomorrow as well to provide some commentary at TGMetsFan98 on Twitter. Hey, out there in the field today, we had the fantastic sunrise view. If you haven't done it yet, when this stream ends, scroll it back to the beginning of the stream. Look in the first 5-10 minutes, and I want you to see Boca Chica Gal's live stream sunrise. You get the recorded sunrises just about every morning on the daily video. You go through and you have these fantastic reflection shots and the sun coming up in the clouds and the colors out there at Boca Chica, all courtesy of Mary, Boca Chica Gal, who lives it every single day and takes the time out of her day to share it with you. So make sure you check that out. We started the stream this morning with a #1 grade A authentic, accept no substitutions, Boca Chica Gal sunrise live. And Mary knew exactly where to put that camera to frame the sun in just the right position and have it rising up behind SN9 with the silhouettes of workers there working on it. That's at the beginning of this video. She lives there right in Boca Chica, and she makes all of these daily updates, live streams, and all that stuff possible. So no matter what you do, make sure you remember that Mary is absolutely fantastic and probably the most dedicated person out there covering Boca Chica and sharing the development of Starship with you. So at Boca Chica Gal on Twitter, another account you really need to follow. You'll get updates like she's allowed to go back home, so there's no more testing for today. Let's see here. Jack is out there as well. Jack has been living at South Padre Island. Jack Beyer, one of our photographers, and you hear him on the live streams, and he records videos, and he does a ton of video editing for us. He has been stuck out there. I say stuck, but he's been out there 3 weeks now, living in a hotel away from his home in California, chasing SN9 and helping us with all of this coverage. So I don't know. Jack is maybe still on comms here. I don't know if you packed up or not, Jack. Jack, we still got you?
Yeah, what up?
Hey, what up, Jack? How you doing?
Hanging in there. Let's hopefully try again tomorrow.
Yeah. Jack, thank you so much for everything you've done. Jack has deployed the robot this camera that you're looking at right now. This is one of the robotic cameras. Michael, I don't know if we could back off a little bit or just show that it is a robotic camera we control remotely. But
there we go.
Here we go. This camera exists because Jack carried it out there. I built it in my garage. I put it into a case. I shipped it out there to his hotel. He picked it up and he carried it out there to the position where he's deployed it. It's got a solar array that's powering it. It's got a big antenna array to get it a good connection over an LTE network, bringing us live video feeds and giving us remote real-time control of it. And it's got a massive 100 amp hour big battery that the solar array charges up. It's a little ridiculous. And Jack himself carried all that out there to make this specific camera angle, which is absolutely fantastic, possible. So, Jack, again, in front of 25,000 people, thank you so much for everything you've done to make all of this coverage possible.
No problem. Thanks, everybody, for your support.
Good deal. Folks, Jack is on Twitter. @thejackbuyer is his Twitter. And he's also got a Patreon. Does a bunch of different stuff. If you like aircraft photos, like photos of fighter jets and stuff like that, he chases those all over Tarnation and has a Patreon where you can get some cool prints and stuff like that. So
yeah, if you see any shots on my Twitter or anything that you like, I do downloads on my Patreon, so check that out. I'm happy to provide you with whatever downloads or whatever you want, plus also the other cool perks that are on there. So thanks everybody for the support.
Good deal, Jack. You're clear to pack up all your stuff and head on back, get some rest, get some dinner, charge some batteries, and thanks again, man. Whew, I'm spooling through the entire list here, and I think we're down to the last two people in the studio. Michael Baylor makes a lot of this possible. Michael, thank you.
No problem. Glad to help out as always.
I mean, everybody always says no problem, but honestly, sometimes it's a little bit of a problem. Like, there's a lot of stuff that has to come together to make this happen. And Michael was on robot duty controlling, he's written some custom software to control these deployable robotic cameras that we developed. And he was out there ready to track the flight of SN9 with the software that he wrote himself. So he says no problem, but believe me, there's a lot of work that goes into making this happen. Also, he's got Next Spaceflight. He's created an app as well for Android and iOS. Head over to nextspaceflight.com and you can download an app that will make your phone beep whenever there are cool events like rocket launches happening. He's got a Starship update website. If you go to winhop.com, you'll never guess where it redirects to. But Next Spaceflight on Twitter. Michael, thank you so much. I'm going to stop talking here shortly so we can get off this stream and
no
go
problem. I will change the graphic to you so that you can wrap it up and save our voices any more talking.
All right. So again, y'all, appreciate everybody coming out to the stream today. We did not get to see that flight. That means that we have more opportunities for the flight, and we will continue to share that with you here on the channel. If you haven't followed the channel yet, make sure you go ahead and do that. Make sure you know how to get back here the next time you go live. Make sure you follow on Twitter as well so you can get notifications or whatever. Turn on the notifications on YouTube. I don't care. I mean, you want to come back. You sat here for some reason. You know how to find your way back. But over here, from the NSF live stream control in North Carolina, which doesn't make any sense. That's just where I live. I'm John Galloway for NASA Spaceflight, the guy who talks a lot, maybe sometimes too much, but we got to do something for 9 hours and however many minutes, 9 hours and 24 minutes in the stream. I want to say thank you to everybody for all the super chats that I could not read. I tried my best to read as many as I could. Also, all the questions that come through. So many good questions. There's just not, it's not possible. There's not enough hours in the stream for us to read every single question that comes through. So once again, stick with us tomorrow. We'll be back. We'll be waiting for this flight of SN9. Come on, FAA, give us some paperwork. Let us know what these problems are so that we can get them resolved. I mean, the royal we there. I'm not going to resolve them. I'm just going to point cameras at whatever happens. But we do hope that that gets cleared up. SpaceX gets that license to launch SN9, and we will be back when that occurs right here on the channel. So that is an awful lot of talking. I'd leave these cameras up if data was free, but it's not. So we are going to go ahead and shut down the live stream now and see y'all tomorrow. It's everybody's favorite song coming up next. But the NASA Spaceflight team, for now, saying later, nerds. We'll catch you next time. We have
pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger, roll with planet. Flight outside of speed off. Yikes. You bet. Okay. We don't need any more of these.
possible.
I don't know, it's way too tired. I could be the one for you, waiting for you. I don't know, it's way too tired. I could be the one for you, waiting for you. after dark. You'd have been on my mind all night long. Maybe we'd have got a vodka lemonade. We show the cool kids how to be the youth of today. We jump the fence and play in the Mr. Grogan's pool. Hit call the police and we hide behind the school. We spend hours throwing stones into the sea. They were the best days of my life, I promise thee. Oh, I could be a saint while you would be the sinner. My mother used to frown when I'd invite you home for dinner. Oh, my darling, how I miss you to the day. I'd give my everything to see your face again. Oh, I'm so sorry I've been distant in the past. I've written tons of letters and they'd ended in the trash. Oh, my darling, how I miss you to the day. I'd give my everything to see your face again, oh, my friend. To 22, I remember falling so in love with you. But your parents packed your bags and moved away. Your father got a job in the Empire State. Oh, how I wish you stood your ground and stayed behind. I've loved and I've lost, but you made me feel alive. I guess you got a job, a life and a family, but I promise my heart will always have a place for thee. Oh, I could be a saint while you would be the sinner. My mother used to frown when I'd invite you home for dinner. Oh, my darling, how I miss you to the day. I'd give my everything to see your face again. Oh, I'm so sorry I've been distant in the past. I've written tons of letters and they'd ended in the trash. Oh, my darling, how I miss you to the day. I'd give my everything to see your face again, oh, my friend. must be you and I. It's got me thinking about us more. It's these bright lights, they put me in a daze, and I can't stop but think about the way that you move around up and down on that stage. It's your future vibes. Bright lights, they put me in a daze, and I can't stop but think about the way that you move around up and down on that stage. It's your future vibes. Bright lights, they put me in a daze, and I can't stop but think about the way that you move around up and down on that stage. It's your future vibes. Yeah.